It's got me thinking on the blessings, and every gray sky turned to blue. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings that like rivers flow to me. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings, some that I did not foresee. I've watched winters turn to spring times, seen daffodils once dormant bloom. My own soul has also blossomed, and what has been my warmth and food, oh, are the blessings, oh, the blessings that like rivers flowed to me. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings, some that I did not first see. Blessings, oh, the blessings, some that I did not deserve. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings are the last and final word. Oh.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this amazing, transformative, chaotic, uncertain world of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live here on the Intuitive Prospector page. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. Just a human being with really no special talents, but just passionately curious about the world around me. Things that are seen, things that are unseen, everything from science to spirituality to, I don't know, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, alien, and anything that's pseudoscience that we can't necessarily prove, but we cannot not prove, right? And we come on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to encourage you, to motivate you, to get you thinking outside the box, to give you some guidance and some inspiration that you may be in need of. So if you haven't followed the page yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button for the Intuitive Prospector. You can learn more about my journey right here at marclainhart.com. And let's do a little prospecting today. So good morning to my subscribers. Good morning to my team of moderators. They keep a close track on your comments coming in and out, just for the fact that we like to keep the community uplifting, positive. We don't need spam. We don't need people coming in trying to prove themselves that they have, a better website or better business. Don't do that. You'll get banned from the community, reported to Facebook, and won't be invited back. So the best way to do that is not do that at all. So today, want to just say thank you for joining me. And we're changing the format a little bit. So a lot of my work has moved over to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much for all of the subscribers and followers. You've helped the channel reach well over 36,000 prospectors that are subscribing for these messages in this journey. And Facebook, we get some interactions on Facebook, but it is one of the platforms that my nieces and nephews tell me all the time that's for old people. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing the format of Metaphysical Mocha. Metaphysical Mocha. That's my old show that I used to do on Mondays. Metaphysical Meetup with Marc. I just guess I need more coffee. For the fact that we're going to just change to, and I'm changing a little bit of my path as well. So this is going to be more of a Friday show for inspiration, encouragement, motivation. I'm not going to really be doing live readings anymore. It's going to be more storytelling on concepts, and I'm doing a lot more writing, if you will. I'm actually working on my second book. If you want to check out my first book, it's called Between Worlds Reflections. I was a co-author in this collaboration, talking about the journey of becoming different, becoming psychic, becoming a medium, becoming some would call that crazy. And I say that because after this show today, there's a free summit taking place called Do You Think You're Crazy? And we're going to be talking about that because crazy is such a label that people may not understand, or mistaken spiritual awakening or spiritual gifts with mental health issues. A lot of things that I actually prospected for and really tried to understand when this happened years ago. I came through this journey through extreme traumas and tragedy, or what I write about today, the TNT, that blew up my life and changed the course of my career, my relationships, who I am as a person. And we're going to talk in this free summit, and I'll put the link if you want to sign up for the free summit. I'm going to be the guest speaker at 11:30 today. There's a whole panel of guest speakers, and it's perspectives based on maybe you're going through some real transformative times. Maybe you lost a friend, a family, or fur baby, and you just don't know where you're at in the world. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, I've gone through myself. And I'm going to be sharing that perspective of the word crazy and what that really means is maybe we need a little bit more crazy in our world, right? Maybe with everything that I'm watching unfold and reveal itself in our current consciousness, which I've been talking about for years. You can go back for my podcasts and articles back to 2026, 2027, or 2016, 2017. And what's happening now, I talked about, wrote about, and podcasted about years ago. And I do see this great coming together. And usually great coming togethers are preceded by great chaos. And so I'm not really getting caught up in what's going on in the world. I know there's a lot going on because my focus is on what the future holds for us. And it's that transformation from caterpillar to butterfly. And we're in that cocoon struggle right now. So we're going to change the format a little bit to where I will offer an opportunity to do readings, but it's going to be in a different format. I've been thinking about this for a while now that I have more time to dedicate to my work, now that I'm retired from the crazy federal government, thank God. Yeah. But I want to encourage you to join our subscribers list. Diamonds Hub here on Facebook. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. And my Patreon prospectors, my subscribers over on Patreon. The reason that we're doing that is because the first Friday of every single month, either if you're a Diamond Sub subscriber or a Patreon Prospector subscriber, the first Friday of every month, I have dedicated 2 sessions to free readings. And they're called Diamond Days. It's the first Friday of every month. It's exclusively for your subscriber membership. The first one's at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you have to check your local time zone wherever you're at, because I work with people all around the world. Or you can come back, if you can't make the morning session, you can come back at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the afternoon session. And it's a great way to just check in, get some guidance, get some inspiration, get some healing, get some meditation, get some sound bath, whatever you need. It's dedicated. And with that being said, this show is now going to be dedicated more to storytelling, more to journeys and diamonds. And the reason that the format is switching because my YouTube channel, these shows get really long, and my YouTube channel, I've actually had some recommendations to compress those shows. So this show will go for about a half hour, and then I'll end. And then what I'll do is I'll come back on the Intuitive Prospector page for the reading room. You can drop in for a reading there or come into the Zoom room. But I'm also going to be doing something on a different day that's going to be solely dedicated to experience etheric. I've been talking about this. I haven't really created the content yet. I've got a little bit, but that'll probably be on Monday evenings is what I'm looking at, to shift to where I can do open community gallery readings, free readings, that kind of thing. But I really want to change because I really want to match what I'm saying and doing to what I'm writing and what I'm publishing. And so if you have a question, I may answer it, I may not. But let's just get into today's message, today's inspirational content, if you will. And the first thing I would tell you is, we were talking about this in my development group on Wednesday, step into your evolution. Step into moving past your comfort zone. Step into maybe unlearning some of the things that you've learned and the way that the world is going. And you buckle up, because there's a lot more to come, y'all. You know, everything from what we call artificial intelligence right now, which I've now been hearing the terminology superior intelligence, which means it's not our intelligence. We may think we have created it. We've created the tools to access it, but the knowledge is not ours to own. We're just accessing that. So AI, or SI. The James Webb Telescope just recently announced that it's got its best evidence yet that there is life on this other planet. I can't remember the name of the planet, but it's twice the size of Earth. That's been released on all the major news outlets. I follow that. I call it the drip, drip, drip. That we're, in our roaring 20s of transformation, we will become aware that we're not alone in the universe, and we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be alone in the universe. It's a big world out there, right? Whether they're out there, whether they're from outer space, whether they're from here on the planet and have been here the whole time. The planet is 70% water. My encounter with what we would call UFOs or extra dimensional beings took place in the water off the coast of Puerto Rico, the tip of the Bermuda Triangle, years and years ago during my Coast Guard days. And I'll probably be talking about that in the Crazy Summit, because unless you've experienced it firsthand, it's really hard to digest that, right? It's just an opinion that you're hearing from somebody else. But I started thinking about most of our oceans are not explored. We've only discovered and explored, depending on what source you look at, about 7 to 15%, and the planet is 70% water. So whether they come from the oceans, whether they come from deep down in the earth, these are all viabilities that can take place, but to be revealed, because what it's going to do is, once we learn that we're not alone, that changes everything. That moves into Star Wars, that moves into Star Trek, that moves into changing how we think about us and our place in the universe. And I've always said that, during our roaring 20s, these would start to unfold. The secrets of Antarctica. There's a whole continent at the bottom of this planet that is just melting and waiting to be discovered and explored. It's never, there's only been little pockets of it that have been explored and discovered. So between the James Webb Telescope out there showing us just how small we are in the universe, to the AI that's transforming how we, consciously live as humans, to the secrets of Antarctica. These are going to be things in the next 2 to 3 years that are going to start to unfold. You don't have to take my word for it. I always just say, wait, watch, and witness. That is my forecast. That is my prediction. And that can scare you. Again, I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to share awareness with you and help you step outside of your comfort zone, maybe step outside of your belief system. A lot of things that I've had to do myself, and I like to present things. I always say I lay things out as a buffet, a spiritual buffet, and you can choose what resonates with you, and you don't have to choose what doesn't resonate with you, right? But we can still agree to disagree, and we can be civil in our viewpoints and our perspectives, because it's the strength of spirituality that gives us different perspectives. I don't claim to know everything. I pretty much know nothing at all. And like I said, I don't have any really special talent, but I'm just passionately curious and want to share that with other people that are also passionately curious. And so today's message, you've maybe heard the phrase, if it's meant to be yours, it's yours already. And this is I came across this, during meditation of what I wanted to talk about today. And, the phrase that I've heard a few times, I've seen it come through my social media. And I was like, when I see something a couple times, a pattern of 3, then that's a communication for me. And what I've learned in communication, not just from a vibration off a vocal cord, but in my spiritual abilities, from clairvoyance to my clairsentience, to pay attention to different types of patterns and communications, and really try to apply science to this as well. The science and the spirituality shake in hands, and they go hand in hand. If you don't, then they're doing a disservice to both. And this saying, if it's meant to be yours, it's yours already, that suggests a belief in fate or destiny. You may not believe in that, and that's okay. But it implies that certain things in life are preordained or destined to happen. And, that's what it's truly meant for you to come in to you in due time, regardless of obstacles or challenges that we might be facing. You know, I feel that this perspective encourages us to have patience and acceptance, and you know, suggesting that if something is truly meant for you, be it a relationship, an opportunity, a goal, it will ultimately manifest into your life. And it can also serve as a reminder to focus on what we want and can control, and to trust the process of life. Now, that's a big word, but that's one of the foundations that I teach on, is to trust the process. I did a free manifesting class summit last in February, so you can still sign up for that at the events page, and I will make sure to put that here in the live feed for you and over on the YouTube channel. And it was all about how can we manifest our reality, what we want in our life, right? I always go with, you know, the concept, your focus determines reality. What you're focused in on, your energy, your intentions to intentions, and what that will take you. And for today, it's all about, you know, do you believe in destiny? Do you believe in fate? Do you know, that's really up to you. It's not for me to decide, that's for you to decide. But I have in my own life, especially this last year of transformation and healing and growth, I can definitely share with you that it is, if you're patient for it, you can manifest your heart's desires, and it usually turns out better than you ever thought. And manifesting is something you have to be patient for. Most of the time, you know, and after in the conference, you know, what is the one reason that people don't manifest? And the colleague I was working with, Katie, she said most people give up. They don't stay to their focus and to their determination of the vision that they have. And that's true, because, you know, things are born twice, first in our mind, and then what we do, just like, you know, bringing this show out for you is bringing this into your reality, whether it's on Facebook or TikTok or YouTube. And it's having these discussions, but a lot of times people won't manifest because they give up on their dreams. And that manifestation can take anywhere from one day to 1 year. For me, it was about 7 to 8 years in processing and being dedicated to who I am and what I do and what I write in my podcast, to actually manifest into my reality that's now a part of my own reality. And I'm happy to be doing it. But you know, if you don't stay disciplined and dedicated to your own intentions, your own dreams, then it just stays up here as a daydream. You're not taking any action to bring it out into your reality and to manifest. And that manifesting can impact other people's lives, not just your own. It can impact the world, the people around you, your friends, your family, your fur babies, your colleagues, your sphere of influence, if you will. And I'll be talking about this on the summit right after this. So I'll grab the link. I'll get over to the Facebook page here. I'll put that link from my website. It's my events page, because I've done a couple events. I've done the Ascension. I was just on Home Times television. We talked about Ascension. I was just on a show last night that'll be coming out with my good friend Jill, colleague from Best American Psychics, and we had a really awesome chat. We have the Crazy Summit that's here in about an hour, where I'll be the guest speaker on the panel. And then next weekend is the Conscious Wellness Expo. So I hope you'll join me. That's my one in-person event that I do over 2 days here in Kent, Washington. It's a local event. So for all you local prospectors, you want to come out, stop by, say hi, get a hug, maybe get a quick reading, sit on one of my lectures. It's the one event that I do in person twice a year, both in the spring, and then I'll do it again in the fall. And I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 years and have really enjoyed that. And who knows, maybe I'll be doing more now that I have more time to do this. But we're going to change a little bit of the concept, where I'm not really focused on doing free readings anymore. I don't need to do free readings. If you want to work with me, you'll find a way to prospect with me, either through the subscription services or the other services that I offer here at marclainhart.com, or you can internet search the Intuitive Prospector. So just some food for thought. So good morning, Jane. Good morning, Carlos. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'll still give you a shout out to my subscribers. If I end up doing a reading, it'll probably be only for my subscribers on the feed anyway. But let's continue with this conversation and expand on that idea that I was talking about from fate and destiny. They often, I found this to be true. And feel free to comment, you know, still keep the comments coming, and you know, I can respond to comments. But I found that the notion of this fate or destiny that I've heard about, learned about, and read about in my journey over many, many years, I find that it often intersects with our personal growth. It intersects with our resilience. It intersects with the nature of our desires. And a few key points to consider on this conversation for today is, one is acceptance of uncertainty. right? The only thing that is certain in life that I've learned in my 50 plus years on this planet is life is not predictable. It's uncertain. The only thing that life can offer us is the expectation of uncertainty. And when you have that acceptance of uncertainty, believing that what is meant for you will come to you encourages acceptance. And it is one of life's uncertainties. It really is. It can help alleviate any kind of anxiety about the future, any depression that you may be facing, or about not achieving your certain goals. Maybe you feel like you failed in certain things, and fostering a more relaxed approach to this journey and being okay with failure. We're in such a society, especially a visual society, based on how many likes one person can get, how many followers one person can get. And that acceptance of uncertainty is very, very important for the spiritual journey. And if you're suffering with anxiety and thinking too much about the future, that should remind you to come back to the present moment, because the only moment that you have is right now, this present moment. And that's taught me a lot, because I used to project out into the future, the what if world, and then try to go back to the past and be like, well, I can't go back to the past. Why am I even thinking that? Because it's gone, right? There's that snap. It's in the past now, right? It's gone. So you really start to focus on what seeds you can plant for today. And if you have certain things that you're dealing with, like failure, like I've failed many times. I talked about this last night on the show, that if I use the Star Wars philosophy, they talk about how Jedi masters have failed more times than the student or the Padawan. That's the terminology for a student learning the force of the ways in Star Wars. But the Jedi master has failed more times than the Padawan or student has even begun. And there's been a lot of failures in my learning and my journey. And that's okay, because failure is first attempt in learning. And when you realize that you're here to learn, you're here to grow, you're here to transform, one of the things that I remind myself, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. I can't help you if you're not willing. There's a free will and choice with everything we do in this journey. But if you are determined to learn, and you're dedicated and you're disciplined to learn, no one can stop you. And that's where my journey has really taken me, the acceptance of uncertainty and the determination about being passionately curious about things that I just don't understand or don't know, and to learn them, or at least try to have a grasp of understanding. Einstein always reminds me that, if I can't explain what I'm talking about to a 6-year-old, I don't know myself. And you all know that there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of people that claim to know everything. That should give you pause that they probably know nothing at all. You hear the fake it till you make it. I don't go that format anymore. And maybe in my early years I used to. But acceptance of uncertainty. And if you have that anxiety, it's because you're thinking about things that haven't happened, or things you can't control that haven't revealed themselves yet. And that's the thing about thinking about the future that can cause anxiety, and thinking about the past can cause depression. So I always take the words fail as first attempt in learning. And if you are depressed, it's okay. We're human. We have our ups and downs, and that's okay. But I take the word depression and rearrange the letters, an anagram, and I pressed on. So you take that depression, work through it, acknowledge it, feel it, doesn't feel good, let it pass through. I pressed on. And trust me, I've had a lot of journeys and modalities and therapy about depression and PTSD, anxiety, based on what happened in my past. But my past doesn't dictate my present moment, and it definitely doesn't, predict or it doesn't indicate my future, right? Because the best thing about the future is it comes one day at a time, and we forget that. And so, be acceptance of the uncertainty, because the only thing consistent in life is uncertainty and change. And so, that's what I want to share with you today. But focus on personal growth. This is the thing I've done this last 18 months with my own personal growth. Is I believe that this shift in our focus can give us external validations, if you will, to internal development. And what I mean by that is, instead of obsessing over what I didn't have or I don't have, this is happening to me as a victim, my mindset became, what, even painful, 4 surgeries in the span of less than a year, major surgeries. And I could have been the victim of it, but I focused on my personal growth. Yeah, my back, my knee, they all got repaired. They needed repaired. I put my body through a lot in 50 years, from Coast Guard to fire service to everything in between, right? But I focused on that as, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me as part of my personal growth. And growth can be painful. That's why we call them learning pains, right? And when I instead of obsessing over what I didn't have or why I was going through this, I started to focus and concentrate on becoming the best version of myself, becoming the best version, which according to this philosophy that I'm talking about today is aligned with your true path, to know thyself. And when I started down the spiritual journey years ago, 2 decades ago, I thought, I had it all figured out. I didn't. I'm still, but 2 decades later, I'm still just a child scratching the surface, learning to, maybe I've learned to, move from crawl to walk, but definitely not running yet, right? So on today's message, I talked about the phrase, if it's meant to be yours, it's already. If it's meant to be yours, it is already. And whether you believe in fate, whether you believe in destiny, I'll leave that up to you. But I moved into this journey of acceptance of uncertainty, focusing on personal growth. It's happening for me, not happening to me. I don't play the victim of life. And then, I found that there is great resilience in adversity. There's great resilience in adversity. And when we're faced with challenges, or setbacks or failures, the mindset can provide comfort if you have this mindset. Talking about that, focus on personal growth and your resilience to adversity. It reassured me when I went through this journey of the obstacles that I've gone through as part of my journey to know myself, if you will, and the perseverance that's often required. There's a lot of people that I know, family members and friends, that have taken their own lives. Suicide ideations is real. Mental health is real. We'll be talking about that in the conference here shortly, about the word crazy and the stigma that comes with the word crazy. I feel a lot of times that the word, what somebody may judge, and so, just so you know, this goes all the way back to Plato. If the only way that you're not going to get judged on anything you do in life is not to say anything, do anything, or be anything. So there's always going to be somebody to judge you. So if you get that out of the way, you're already ahead of the game. And when you have these setbacks or these failures, there's people that do check out. I've experienced it firsthand. I've experienced people that have committed suicide and taken their own life. And I believe that sometimes that our spiritual gifts and awakening, and myself included when I first started this journey, is self-sabotage and self-analyze. Like, am I schizophrenic? I'm talking to my brothers that are no longer here. How is that even possible? How is that scientifically possible? How is that logically possible? And, we jump to today with our technology and our philosophy and our understanding, and yet of things we don't understand, you realize it's not as crazy as you think it is. Just because you don't see it does not mean it's not here. And there are many examples that you use in your everyday life that would support that foundation, the air that you're breathing. If you don't have air, you can't see it, right? But you need it. Gravity. You jump out. If I'm sitting here in my studio, I take a leap from my window here, I guarantee you I'm going to hit the ground. And that's based on the philosophy of gravity that wasn't discovered, as humans. It took years of, alchemy and science and understanding, to where finally the apple falls on the head and brings forth the idea of this thing called gravity. If you do jump out and float, then I'd love to hear about it. I think the world would love to hear about it. But, things like the wind, we see the effects of the wind, but we don't see the actual wind with our physical eye. So air, gravity, things that I've talked about all the time, the telescope, the microscope, things that we can't see with the physical eye. The electricity that runs this, the Wi-Fi that runs this. These are all things that we just don't even think about. And it's just part of our consciousness, part of our society, part of our experience. But there's a lot of other things too. If you base it on science and frequency and vibration, what we see as humans and what we hear as humans is very, very small based on the grand scale of things. And so I always remind my students and those that follow my journey and prospect with me, we have 3 eyes in life, 2 to look, 1 to see. And when this one starts to open, it can really create some chaos and some uncomfortabilities, that awakening, that the spiritual awakening, or unplugging from the matrix, however you want to coin that. And you can have thoughts of have I gone crazy? But crazy is transformation. And I believe that some of our spiritual gifts that we have, if you're just coming into them, can be classified or looked upon as mental health issues. I'll be talking about how the indigenous cultures in the past actually helped their tribe and their community work through their spiritual gifts and their mental health issues. They didn't isolate, and we do that. We're having more conversations, but when I was growing up, it was more isolation. The white truck with the guys in the white jackets show up, put you in a straight jacket, put you in the back of the rig, and take you to a rubber room, right? So you don't hurt yourself, right? And there are people that have hurt themselves from their spiritual awakening, their spiritual gifts, and not understanding them. So, I always recommend find a teacher, find a tutor, find a mentor, just like I stand on the shoulders of great teachers and mentors that have helped me to understand these concepts of spirituality, intuition, healing, vibration, frequency, psychic, medium, all the things of, understanding what had triggered in me from the trauma that happened 2 decades ago that I didn't understand. And, surround yourself with like-minded people, people that have gone through similar experiences to give you different perspectives. Because I've always said that the strength in spirituality is, and this even goes back to Darwin, when Darwin wrote about it's not the strongest that survive, it's not the smartest that survive, it's those that are most flexible that actually survive. And with this journey, it's not a straight line. That's where we talk about the spiral and filling the spiral. But instead of spiraling out of control, spiral up, step into your evolution is what I would say. And part of that is, bringing in that destiny or that fate, but, having that acceptance of uncertainty, having a focus on personal growth. This is happening for me, not to me. Resilience in your adversity, because the journey, as part of our journey, that perseverance and not giving up, there are people that just do give up. And I find a lot of times, especially with my own experiences with suicide and family members and friends that have actually gone through with it, it's because they were in so much pain, they just wanted the pain to stop and didn't think about anybody else. And it's a tough one. Suicide, whether I'm connecting as a medium or experiencing it firsthand in my personal life, it's tough because there's such a range of emotions. Some of that I've got a tattoo called the semicolon movement. And I have it here as a reason, along with my breath, because breath is important. But the semicolon means that my sentence is not done, because there were certain parts of my journey that I thought, can I pull through this adversity, heartbreak, physical pain, career change? And, this is a reminder to be like, everything is going to be okay. I can look at that and be like, everything is going to be okay. And that's your resilience in adversity. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And, and again, it just comes back. If you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. That's free will and choice. But if you are determined and dedicated and disciplined and focused to learn, no one can stop you either. So I find that when we're tested the most in our journey, that's when you're about to elevate. That's when the diamond reveals itself, right? And diamonds are created under extreme pressures. The intuitive prospector, you can see the diamond right over my shoulder, along with my Hertz meter. I always turn it on when I'm connecting, because sometimes that energy can fluctuate within the space. And I always like that as a visual indicator from a scientific standpoint, right? The human energy field. Again, what is seen and what is unseen, what interacts with us and what we know and what we don't know. But you get tested the most when you're about to elevate. Remember that. You get tested the most when you're about to elevate. And that's that pressure that creates the diamond. The diamond is revealed, and the diamonds that start to become aware in your own reality. So understanding timing is a big part of this, right? We're the only species that measures our life by a construct of time. And the idea of timing is always crucial. Everything happens for a reason in the season. What we resist persists, the lesson repeats until it completes. Some of the universal laws that I found in doing this journey. But what we desire might not come to fruition immediately. And that's what I'm talking about, manifesting power and patience, one day at a time. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen, y'all. You have to trust the process. I have these conversations with my students, my colleagues, my wife, my friends. Trust the process. That's a big foundation that I teach on. Trust, patience, dedication, discipline, grace. These are things that this is not an easy journey. But if you press on, just like the word depression, I pressed on, change it around, it becomes a little bit more manageable, a little bit more digestible, if you will. And if you understand timing, focus on it will happen. It's already yours, right? It just may not be in the timeline that we want as humans, right? That's the ego talking to us. And so if you understand timing, life has its own rhythm. I'll say that again. Life has its own rhythm. It has its own vibration. And patience is often a part of the process. The way knows the way, trust the process. I can tell you that as one of the most stubborn signs in the astrology charts as a Taurus, one of the most stubborn signs. And it's taken me years to understand and surrender and to, as Buddha reminds us, let that shit go. So, letting go of control is my next topic. And, from my perspective, it encourages us to let go, right? Because we don't need to control every aspect of our life. And I think as humans, we try to fix things, we try to control things. And the more you realize that you're not in control, the only thing you're ever in control of is how you respond to what life throws at you, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the indifferent. But when you start to let go, from my perspective, this trust and this patience and this timing that I'm talking about, the universe or higher power or God, I don't try to tell people what God is. I know that there is something beyond this that is full of love and intelligence and understanding. Whatever your context of God is, we'll leave that up to you. If you don't believe in God, that's fine too. You're more than welcome to sit in the conversation. But I work with full believers, agnostics, atheists. Sometimes I'm an agnostic, right? I want proof of stuff, right? I am human. But when we let go of that control and trust and foster in realizing it's already ours to have, it's about a timing issue and manifesting, then believing that things will unfold as they should will give you that power, that vibration, that intention, because intention creates energy and focus and energy of your auric field, and from intentions to what I call ascensions, intentions to ascensions. That's what I talk about. But letting go of control is very, very important part. And the way to do that is become aware of your own ego, the duality of who you are, the light and the dark of who you are, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, the angel and the devil, whatever you want to look at that. But for me, naming my ego at times when I'm self-sabotaging or thinking of the future and the what if world, which can cause anxiety, I say, you know what, Igor, I've named my ego Igor, because if you remember the movie, the Igor with the hump on his back and master, you need to do this. Like, no, I don't need to do this, because the one person I talk to the most in my entire life is myself. And so it's very important to be mindful of the conversations that you're having with yourself in mindfulness and aware of your ego. And you need ego to survive in this world, but most of the first half of our life was developing ego to survivability, right? Survival of the fittest, if you will, nature. But then you get to a part of your journey where maybe things have transformed or changed, or pain or loss or near-death experience. Everything that have gone through, my sum of experiences reveals to me that I don't need to have my ego. I needed it for a part of my life. I don't need it now. There are certain times, because the ego is opinionated, competitive, judgmental, but there's mindfulness around that to be like, I don't need that. Choose your battles. And again, the only really true power that you have is how you respond to things and not respond to things. By not responding to things is also a solution and an answer within itself. That may be part of your relationships, family members, your career, all of that. So does that make sense? Is that resonating with y'all? Please post a comment. Last but not least in today's message, connection to spirituality. And I love to bring science in what I do to help fit my ego, to help fit my analytical, logical mind, but connection to spirituality. And for many, the belief is intertwined with both spiritual and philosophical views about our life and our journey here and the many pathways. Again, don't spiral out of control, spiral up, because life is not a straight line. That's why I have my True North tattoo now, to remind me of where my true north is, where I'm going. But that connection to spirituality, I find it can be comforting to think that there is a greater plan at work, whether that's fate or destiny or God, whatever you want to call it, and that everything happens for a reason, whether it's people that come into your life for a reason in a season. The tree of life that's behind me, we've got our root friends, we've got your limb friends, you've got your leaf friends, and the leaf friends just come in for just a period and they blow away. And then you've got your limb friends that have been there, family or friends for, most of your life. And they're part of your journey as above, so below. But then you have your root friends that have been there throughout the entirety of your entire life. And I have a few of those, and I'm very grateful and blessed to be able to say that I have root friends. But when you realize that connection to spirituality and that there's a greater plan at work, then everything does happen when it's supposed to, on a timeline that we don't get to control, right? The timeline, time is a commodity. And, if you're thinking about your bank accounts, your savings account, your checkings account, most of you know what your balances are. But the one thing we don't know is how much time we have in our account. What is that balance, right? And, this has stuck with me ever since my brothers died. What time, one died at 21, murdered, 3 days later, older one, 35, brain cancer. We don't know what our time is. And that's what I'm going to be shifting as I start to write more, I'm going to be doing more storytelling and sharing through Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, not so much focused on the readings. I know y'all like the readings, but that's part of me shifting my journey as well. And I'll still be doing readings, but if you want to be a subscriber, that's probably the best way to do it. But, overall, as I start to wrap up, why this perspective can be inspiring, encouraging, motivating. That's why we're here on Fridays. It's also important to balance it with proactive efforts and our goals. Be active, be active in what you're doing, because everything will be okay. Everything will work out. It's about finding harmony and balance between trusting the process and taking meaningful action in your life. And so when you realize that, that phrase has a lot more meaning. If it's meant to be yours, it's yours already. So let me just give some shout outs. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for being here. Let me go grab that events page for you. If you want to sit on the summit, it's already started. I'll be speaking here in about 45 minutes as the guest speaker for that time slot. And the best way is to click on the link that I'm going to share with you. There's a lot. You can get the past manifesting masterclass that I did. You're Not Crazy Summit that's coming out today and tomorrow. The BECU Conscious Wellness Expo that takes place next week. The Ascending program that I just did last Tuesday. So a lot of things in play that you can start to prospect and see if it resonates with you. See if it makes a difference. So let me get that over into the link. Get over on my YouTube channel, because again, I'm doing a lot more. These videos are going to be smaller because I'm doing more work on my YouTube, and eventually I may leave Facebook. Like I said, my nieces and nephews have told me several times that Facebook is for old people, and I guess I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram. All the links are right here at marclainhart.com. And if you want to start getting those readings that I'm talking about, then become a subscriber. And when I roll out the Experience Etheric, I think I'm going to do it on Monday evenings. That's a good way to have the free readings. It'll be dedicated. It won't be a show or content like this. It'll be just strictly come into the Zoom room, call me on my business line. I'll be doing psychic and mediumship, and I'll just do it for like an hour. I'm not sure the time frame yet. I'm feeling like Monday might be the right path, but I'm not quite sure of the time frame, because I have people over in the UK and other parts of the world. So I'm trying to find out what would be the best time, maybe 1 p.m. my time, which is, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. over in the UK time zone. So let me get over to the Intuitive Prospector page. I'll put my events page in if you want to click on that. That'll get you to all the registration links that are out there. It's kind of your one-stop shop. But I hope you're having a great Friday. It's nice, 70 degrees here in Seattle. So loving that. Going to get out and do some yard work. Now that I can physically do, active things again. That's been the journey too. Excuse me. Is when you have when your time is your greatest commodity and your health is your true wealth. And when those are taken away, your reality changes, right? You realize, I blew my knee out. I can't walk. Okay, well, take your time, heal. And then, when you have the opportunity to do yard work, you be excited for it, right? Like, I got to go out and clean moss out of my fountain, stuff that I haven't been able to do. But, that perspective was based on, losing my health for a little bit this last year. And so I'm gone ahead and put the link in to the comment section if you want to click on that. So that's in the comment section now. You can also go to marclainhart.com, click on the events tab, sign up, get on my newsletter. My latest newsletter just went out. My latest article, The Soul Adventures of Curiosities and Coincidences, is out if you want to learn about that. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. You can get this video over on my YouTube channel later. There's another YouTube video streaming here in just about an hour and a half. But I'm going to be doing more of this kind of content of storytelling, sharing, encouraging, motivating, and not really getting into the free readings unless you're a subscriber. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And again, today's message is, if it's meant to be yours, it's yours already. And I hope that you'll step into your evolution. I hope that you'll step into your own power, and that life is happening for you, not to you. So I hope that makes a lot of sense. So that link should be in the comment section. Yep, showing that it came up. Got group in a minute, but just thought I'd say hi. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for stopping in. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna end it there. As I put in the video, it's a new day, it's a new opportunity, a day that we have not seen before, to use our intuition to prospect this wonderful world around us. And I hope that you will do that with the time that you have and the health that you have in this current moment. So until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. Most importantly, whatever's going on, wherever you're at in the world, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and you'll discover that diamond within, and you'll discover the many hidden gems all around us. So until our next time together, have a great Friday, happy weekend, enjoy the moment, and as I always like to say, namaste, namago. I'll see you next time here on the Intuitive Prospector page for another Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Lainhart. Take care, everybody.
Cause I am in silence. Cause I am in silence until the dawn. Cause I am in silence. Cause I am in silence until the dawn.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.